All right, let's talk about Lower Five and O House. Going to start you off here on our housing homepage. This is where you'll be able to access all of the maps and stuff such that I'm going to show you here in a second. Just a quick reminder about our general process for parking on move-in days. Students have signed up for an arrival time. This is 15-minute window in which they should arrive to their unloading zone. Once they arrive to the unloading zone, the student volunteer will complete their unloading zone pass and write a time on there. So the time they write on there will be 1 hour from the current time. So if it's 11:16 a.m., they're going to write 12:16 p.m. on the pass. Um, and the passes will go in the dash of the vehicle so we can see them from the outside. They'll then let them know they can go park, check in, unload, and then, when their hour is up to move to long-term parking. Um, that is the process that pretty much happens in any lot that is an unloading zone. So I'm going to go through these parking lots and kind of show you what's what. So from our homepage, if you want to look at these later, you can find our move-in maps. If you go to incoming students and move in, you scroll down, and this wouldn't be bad information just to read in general, but we're mostly going to focus on during move-in right now. And then you can see where we have maps for every building. So these maps are a little different based on the building. And so maybe I'll just need to go through all of them, maybe with the exception of Mel and Lipscomb. So let's start with Lipscomb. You can see parking, check-in, and trash recycling maps here. We're going to open it up, and here we go. So you can see in the maps here that our unloading zones are in red. You can see kind of the legend over here that tells you what's what and a little bit of information about each spot. But for Mel and Lipscomb, this is essentially going to be the same. Their parking is going to be the same. We got Mel here and Lipscomb here. You can see that they do go to check in at Hill Hall. So anybody in Mel, Lipscomb, Church, Boggs, and Hill is going to go to check in and get their key at Hill Hall. And then they'll move into their building. So this is a Legion Pool parking lot. The volunteers here are going to be stationed right here. The student volunteers, so they'll be doing their unloading zone pass thing, in this area. One thing to look out for here is we want to try to make sure we get them into the lot a little bit. We don't want to be out here blocking traffic, doing their unloading zone pass. So we just want to kind of go ahead and get them in. So the volunteers will do their thing with the pass, the 1 hour, letting them know that, they go to Hill to check in and get their key, and then they'll go to move into their building after that. And then when their 1 hour is up, their long-term parking is the whole street deck. So they'll, leave the Legion lot, take a left to left and right into the whole street deck. So that'll be their long-term parking option. All right, I'm gonna go back here and we'll look at Hill real quick. So Hill Hall, there is a parking lot off of Lumpkin Street. You can see we were just at Legion here. There's a parking lot up here for Hill. And the volunteers, again, will be right here at the entrance, making sure vehicles get off the street enough so that they're not blocking. Do their unloading zone pass thing, let them know, they're going to go check in at Hill, and then obviously they'll move into Hill. And when they're done, the Hill Hall unloading zone is also the whole deck. So Mel, Lipscomb, Hill, and the whole deck. If for some reason this Hill lot were to fill up, they could also park at Legion. If somebody has like a huge truck or something and can't like maneuver and they're for Hill, you could set it up to the Legion lot. That would be fine. But same deal. Do the pass, check in, unload for an hour, then move to long-term parking. All right, let's move on to church. All right, so Church Hall has a parking lot here, also off of Lumpkin Street. You can see this is where we just were at Hill, so this is just the next parking lot up. The volunteers will be right here, and making sure we're not blocking traffic, getting vehicles off to fill out their unloading zone pass, letting them know that they can park. Um, they can go to Hill to check in, and then they can come back and move their things into church. If for some reason this lot fills up, we can send church all residents to the Boggs lot, which is up here. So right on Lumpkin, right on University Court, and follow it around. You can't, it's not on this map yet, but there's actually a drive, right? It's straight into this lot right here because the new project construction zone is in orange here. So that would be overflow for church if we need it. Probably won't need it, but if it does get busy, the volunteers can, in full, the volunteers can send them to the box lot. Church, their long-term parking is the West Campus deck. There's also this portion of the surface lot here at Russell. So basically, when they come in, anything to the left is long-term parking. There's also what used to be the tennis courts. They can actually park there too. That'll be labeled as long-term parking. And then the new West Campus deck too, right here. So that's where they will go for long-term parking. Um, yeah, pretty easy lot, not super busy. If it does get full, go ahead and send them to Boggs. All right, let's look at Boggs real quick. So I kind of talked about the Boggs lot a little bit already, but it is right here. There is an entrance straight in from this intersection down into the Boggs lot, and it's right here. That's the unloading zone piece. All this is construction. So same deal. Do the unloading zone passes. The volunteers will be here at the entrance. Um, do their 1 hour, let them know they need to go to Hill to get their key, and then move in and then move to long-term parking. So some of the street parking is actually not monitored, so they could park there, but officially their long-term parking is the same as church. All these spaces over here by the high rises. Lastly, let's go to O House. So here we've got O House. The unloading zone for O House is this area in red here. So it's actually the part behind the building. Volunteers will be stationed right here and check people into the unloading zone, do their unloading zone pass thing. And then they're actually going to check in through the back doors here in the basement, and then they'll move in that way as well. Um, Long-term parking for O House again, these aren't really monitored, so that could be a possibility. This other lot that's off of East Cloverhurst, W11 lot here, is long-term for them, and then they have the same option for these lots over at the high rises. Um, so all of these lots in the lower five in O House tend to go pretty smoothly. Um, the main things to look out for, they're just like in every lot, is to make sure we get the unloading zone passes filled out correctly, that everyone has one, that it's visible on the dash, and that we kind of monitor to make sure they're not going past an hour. So if you have any questions about these, feel free to let me know. Thanks.